mean, I like to get started. I like to get through as many problems as possible. Now, there are a few things about this that's not really efficient. I'm going to rewrite the information on the board. If I make a mistake, please tell me. What I'm going to do is actually show you the logic I use for each of the problems, how I approach it, okay? So from the data, how do I approach it? Do I determine if genes are linked or unlinked, etc.? And I'll tell you now and again and again, what I'll do is I'll make my predictions as though they are unlinked. I look at the data, and if it matches those predictions, then they're unlinked. If it doesn't match it, then they're linked somehow. So let's just do a couple things before we get started on the actual problem. Just for review, if I have two loci like this individual is heterozygous, and I were to cross it with a homozygous recessive individual, this can make four types of gametes, but they're all the same, right? Recessive, recessive. And this can make four types of gametes, A plus B plus, A plus B, AB plus, and AB. And those ratios would be 1/4 to 1/4 to 1/4 to 1/4. Okay? And that's to be expected, because if we look at this cross here, we would say 1/2 should have the A plus phenotype, 1/2 should have the A phenotype, and based upon the B plus, if they assort independently, 1/2 should have the B plus phenotype, 1/2 should have that, 1/2 should have the B plus again, which is 1/2, and 1/2 should have the B. So we would predict 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. If it doesn't match that, then the assumption is they are linked. And so that would mean we could have two possible scenarios for linkage. We could have the situation where the wild-type alleles are coupled, that is, they're on the same chromosome, you could say in phase, various terms like that. And if we had it across the homozygous recessive individual, how many types of gametes can this make? 4, but they're all the same. So they're going to be AB. But how many types can this individual make? I need a response. 4, and they are the parental A plus B plus, the parental AB, and then the recombinants A plus B, and the other recombinant, which is A plus AB plus. These numbers should be larger, okay? That's for case 1 within this type of linkage. So the largest number should have wild-type phenotype. Remember, this is homozygous recessive, so these would have the A plus B plus phenotype, the AB phenotype, A plus B, AB plus. So you would see quickly in the data that it was not 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 for the 4 possible combinations of phenotype. That's case 1. Case 2, in yellow, would be again, we're crossing the homozygous recessive individual, which serves as a test cross. But in this case, the wild-type alleles are not coupled together. How many types can this make? 4, but they're all the same. How many can this make? 4, and they would be as follows. A plus B, which would be the parental, AB plus, which is the parental, and the recombinants, which would be A plus B plus, and the recombinants AB. Notice they're the same exact 4 types of gametes, correct? In terms of the phenotypes. That's the same as that. This is the same as this one here. But in case 2, I could have simply switched this to that. So once you make the Punnett square, you look and see what data matches. If it was case 2, the majority should be A, B plus phenotype, and A plus B phenotype, and the lower numbers would be wild-type, mutant, mutant. If it was case 2, the largest numbers, more than 25, would be A plus B plus and AB. So in this situation, the parentals are always larger, and this is independent assortment. So we're going to be doing that over and over again using the same analogy. We can look at each locus independent of one another, make our predictions. If it matches the predictions, we'll say the simplest cases are unlinked. If it doesn't match the predictions, it's either linked or some form of epistasis, okay? So now let's do page 18, number 44. I put that data here. So this is trait 1, trait 2, trait 3. So what I'm going to do is look at them independent of one another, and let's do some numbers. Let's look at the recombinants versus the recessive versus dominant here. We've got 40, 50, 80, 120, 150, 240. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. What gives you a 3-to-1 ratio? Hetero with hetero. So we know for trait 1, if this assorts independently, 3/4 should be the dominant phenotype, and 1/4 should be the recessive for trait 1. Any questions about that? I got that from the data. Look at the numbers. That was 80, 240, that's a 3-to-1. I know this is hetero with hetero. Let's look at trait 2. Dominant is 40, 70, 160, and the recombinants are 160. So that tells me it's a 1-to-1, which is a what cross? Homozygous recessive with heterozygous. But for our purposes, for trait 2, we know 1/2 should be dominant, 1/2 should be recessive. 1/2 should be dominant, 1/2 should be recessive. Exact same thing we did over here. We're going to look at them as though they assort independently for our first prediction. And let's look at the third locus. We see dominant is 60, 150, 240, and the recessives were 20, 50, 80. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. So for trait 3, likewise, it's a 3/4 dominant, 1/4 recessive, which would have been a hetero with a hetero. So what we're doing is we're treating them as though they are unlinked, and we're going to look. That's our predictions. Okay. Would anyone like me to go over that again? No? Okay, great. So if this is correct, it's 3/4, 3/8, 9/32 should be like that. And there's 320 organisms here, so 1/32 of that is 10. So if that's correct, then that should be 90 like that. And do we find 90 that have the dominant phenotype? Let's look. Dominant. The answer is 90. So did that match our predictions? Yes. So are the traits linked or unlinked? Unlinked. All 3 of them are unlinked. Notice, if for some reason that wasn't 90, so it wasn't 90, the way I would tell the linkage, I would know two of those three traits are linked, maybe all 3 are linked. What I would do then is I would look at trait 1 with trait 2 by itself, completely ignoring trait 3. And if I saw 3/8 were dominant, and 3/8 were dominant recessive, and 1/8 was recessive dominant, 1/8 was recessive recessive, then I would know traits 1 and 2 were not linked because they fit the predictions of unlinked. And then I would try traits 1 and 3. And then it should be, for traits 1 and 3, it was 3/4 dominant, ignoring trait 2. So I would say it's 9/16, 3/16, 3/16, 1/16. Okay? So then I would just sort of say, okay, do I find those numbers? And if I found that, then it's going to say 1 and 2 weren't linked, 1 and 3 weren't linked, then most likely 2 and 3 would be linked. Okay? I will try to do some other problems. Do you see how the data for this problem matched completely independent assortment? Okay? And if it hadn't been, if 2 of these had been linked, by looking at all 3, this would not have been 90. It would have been a different number. But then I would have to see where I got away from that independent assortment. Okay? Let's try now question, page 39, number 43, unless there's questions here. Okay, so now page 39, number 43. This will allow us to do this again, but now, instead of using the letters D and R, we're actually going to give it names of traits, which sometimes complicates it because you've got to remember trait names and stuff, okay? But let's quick do this. We said for this, we have 3 mutant phenotypes. They are acute angled wings, curly antenna, dark thorax. So for the letters, A for angled wings, C for curly, D for dark. So I know the letters will be A for angled wings, because that's a mutant, C for curly antenna, and D for dark thorax, but I don't know if I should be using uppercase or lowercase, okay? I haven't looked at any information yet. All I've done is I said I know what letters to use, okay? Let's quick do this. You made a female fly with normal wings, curly antenna, normal thorax, with a male, angled wings, normal antenna, dark thorax. This male is from a true breeding population. You don't know anything about that one yet, okay? You don't know that it's not necessarily from true breeding. And then the data is as follows. So let's look at the data. Again, treat them independent of one another. Looking at wings, normal versus angled wings, we see 300, 750, about 1,050, and here we see about 1,050. So we get a 1-to-1 ratio, so 1/2 should be normal wings, and 1/2 should be acute wings. What gives you a 1-to-1 ratio? Hetero with homozygous recessive. We know this male is from a true breeding population. So this male is either homozygous recessive or hemizygous, if the trait happens to be sex-linked, okay? Because he's from a true breeding population. Can't be heterozygote if he's true breeding. So it's either like this, where this male is like this, where it's on an autosome, or it's like this, if it's on the sex chromosome, which would be a Y. Don't know which one yet, okay? Do you see how I came up with this? Hetero with homozygous recessive, because it's 1-to-1 ratio. We know this is true breeding, so it has to be either homozygous recessive or hemizygous. Okay, now let's look at the second trait. And I'm going to run out of room, so I'm going to put this down a little bit more. Half normal wings, and half acute. Second trait is the antenna. Let's look at the ratios. Normal is 300, normal is 375, another 375, 1,050. It looks like the 1-to-1 ratio as well, right? So 1/2 should be curly, 1/2 should be normal, and 1/2 should be curly, 1/2 should be normal. Okay? And let's look at the last trait, which is thorax, normal, 525, 900, 1,050, also 1-to-1 ratio. And that's normal to dark. Okay, so let's see. You get the following data. It should be noted that from other crosses, a difference was seen between females and males with respect to thorax pigmentation, but not for wing position or antenna morphology. So it tells you in the question that at some point in time we saw a difference in thorax pigmentation. So we know pigmentation is X-linked. And it says you never see it for the other two, okay? So we know that, okay? So we know this is sex-linked. Okay, so let's look at these two traits by themselves. So this is a wing. If it's not linked, we'd expect 1/4 to have normal and curly wings. And let's look at that. Normal wings and curly antenna. Whoops, read this table. So we're doing normal wings and curly antenna. We got normal wings and curly antenna. We got 750. And then we got normal wings, normal 300. Are these traits linked or unlinked? Do they match the data? Are they the same numbers? No. And the expectations if they're unlinked would be 1/4, 1/4. So right now we know the numbers don't match. And let's look at acute curly. Angled curly, it's 300. And the other one is 750. Now, if you remember from back here, we know that the parental numbers should be the largest, and the recombinants are the smallest. So we know then that this is due to a parental chromosome, this is due to a recombinant chromosome, this is due to parental, this is due to recombinant. Okay? So what I did was I did the expectations that they were unlinked. So I made my predictions, and I said it was 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. I looked at the data, and it doesn't match. So I know these two traits are linked. Any questions about that? No questions? Okay, so we know now that these two traits are linked, so let's try to go back to this. So the male was true breeding. So if angled wings was dominant, all of the offspring should have had angled wings, and we didn't see that. So we know angled wings is recessive. All right? And we know that the antenna, since it's true breeding, if it was wild type, they should all have, if this was dominant, they should all have normal antenna, we see half and half. So we know then that curly is dominant. So the male that's true breeding is A, C+, with this uppercase. Question? Okay, so the question is, how did I determine if curly should be dominant or recessive, correct? So the male was from a true breeding population, which means he's going to be homozygous for this. So if normal antenna was dominant, what would all the offspring have to be? It'd have to be normal, okay? But we didn't see that, okay? So it has to be that way, okay? And we know now, so we go through here, and what we're trying to do is figure out the female fly. So we know the female is heterozygous, so we know she's like this. And we know she's heterozygous here because we saw a 1-to-1 ratio. So we know she's like this. But remember we said they were linked, right? It wasn't 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So we know it's linked. So what we don't know is which of these is the situation. Is it like case 1 or case 2? Case 1 or case 2? Case 1 would mean the majority would be mutant, mutant. And we have mutant, mutant, and that's the smallest number. So we know that here we should have normal and curly. So here we have acute. That's one, and the other parental is normal for the curly. So that's one of the parental chromosomes, and the other one is like that. And those are uppercase C's. Okay? So again, I'll review this after you have a minute to think about it, okay? Okay, so the question was, how did I determine if the one trait was sex-linked? Because in the question it says to you, from other crosses, a difference was seen between males and females with respect to thorax pigmentation. So it tells you right in the question that somewhere, not this cross, but a different cross, you saw that. So since you saw a different cross, it tells you that those are two are sex-linked, okay? But it then says you never ever see a difference in males and females for wing position or antenna. So you know those two are not sex-linked, okay? So what this illustrates is sometimes a cross doesn't give you all of the information you need. So sometimes I have to toss another sentence in there. Question at the very back. Is that a question or just, okay? All right. So So remember how we did this before we had names on this? We said, okay, this is A plus B plus. Remember how it should be 1 4, 1 4, 1 4? If they sort independently, then we said if those numbers don't match, it's either linked like this or like this. And we said that should always be the largest numbers for the parentals. We just did exact problem like that with actual names of traits and stuff, okay? Any questions? Okay, let's move on to page 78, 43 through 46. And I apologize because it takes me more time to write the information on the board than it does sometimes to even talk about it. But by having it up on the board, I can point all the way out to you at one time, okay? And the other thing is, I try to show you how I read the problem, how I approach the problem, how I pretty much try to do the logic. So this is page 78 now. Numbers 43 through 46, okay? So let's start with 43. A gene is identified that makes the flies fat. Most flies are thin. Usually the most common phenotype will be the one that's wild type, okay? If you see the word normal, assume that's not the mutation, because mutation is the abnormal phenotype. So if you see the word normal, that's wild type. Also, it typically is what's most common in the population. But I need to explain that. So when Thomas Morgan studied fruit flies, the first flies he had, they had red eyes. And if he just picked a fly from random out in nature, if that's the most common allele, he probably would have got a fly that had red eye. But there are white-eyed flies out in nature. If he had somehow picked that rare representative in the wild type, but pulled it into his lab and said, these are the flies I'm working with, he would have then said white was the wild type, okay? But that's very unlikely that he would randomly pick that white-eyed fly, okay? So usually wild type is the most common. So it says here, most flies are thin. That means fat will be the mutation. So fat's mutation. I don't know whether to write lowercase or uppercase, but it says heterozygous flies will be fat. So the mutation dominant recessive. Dominant. So a heterozygous fly looks like this. And genotype, and what's its phenotype? Fat, because fat is dominant to the wild type or wild type is recessive, okay? So we've done this. That answer should be C, okay? So that's 43. This is page 78. All right, now go ahead and try to do questions 44, 45, and 46. While you're trying to do it, I'm going to put the data on the board. Once I get the data on the board, after a couple minutes, I'll go through and work with you, okay? Best way for you to do is try to do it. And probably the best way to do this is to treat this as though this is the actual exam that you're taking right now, okay? That you're not talking to each other, because then what will happen is you'll get a chance to actually have the same pressure of the exam, okay? Okay, would you like another 2 minutes to try to work through the problem? Yeah, okay. Okay, how about we try to do the problem? How many got the answer? A couple people? Okay, let's quick do this. All right. So this is a true breeding female, male, true breeding male, fat, thin. It says all the F1s are fat. We already knew fat was dominant, so that didn't give us much new information. But they're all bifurcated, which tells us what? Is bifurcated dominant or recessive? Dominant, so we know that bifurcated should be like this.